I want to move now into this investing piece. And I think it is a bit of a risk spectrum as well. Like, we want to encourage people to have one eye on today, one eye on the future, and invest for tomorrow. Thankfully, in Australia, if you've got a job, 12% is going into superannuation each year. But we don't want to aim for the bare minimum. Like, the amount of money you need for retirement is as much as possible. That's the whole thing. So on your risk spectrum of investing, it could be as simple as, well, I'm just going to tell work, we've got a bit of money left over. I'm going to tell work to do salary sacrificing, $100 a pay, $200 a pay, whatever that is, into superannuation. In one strike, we're investing for the future in a tax-effective environment, and overall, year on year, we're paying less tax overall. So it could be as easy as that. Now, I've got two property hawks in the room. What are some other things that people can do to invest?
Well, you'd argue there's three, actually. They're silent.
We've converted him.
Oh, well, I think he converted himself. He just plays this story as though he's not. Where was I going with that?
I don't know, buying any investment property.
Yeah, so I think when you were talking about this salary sacrificing piece, you came to mind in the sense that in your 30s, you now know whether you're a spender or a saver.
Yeah.
So the salary sacrificing thing could be, I don't want to see it. I want to put it to the future because otherwise I'll spend it. Yeah. So understanding that risk profile, the mindset, all of that. But yeah, obviously you may have a deposit where you can say, is it my family home or my stepping stone property, or is it an investment property? And obviously I'm having conversations daily about this where for most people living in the capitals, their first property now is starting to become an investment just because they just can't afford to live within 10K of where they'd like to be and not prepared to move. So the only option is to buy an investment if they want property as an asset type.
What are your thoughts on this investing for the future in your 30s?
Yeah, well, I've got a team member of mine that's been with me for a decade now, and when she first started, she asked if she could put salary sacrifice into super, and I'd actually never done that before myself, and I had to go to payroll and go, how do I actually do this? And the payroll person sorted it out. And I remember thinking, that's not a huge amount, but that's been a decade now. And that person's saved a decade's worth of salary sacrifice with an employer, and if that's all that she did in the last 10 years, that's something for her future that she's doing.
And wouldn't have missed it.
Absolutely.
No, you don't miss it.
Because it started
Because you'll always
so young.
adjust to what your means are.
Yeah.
You'll always come up to your means.
And I am pro-property and that's my passion, but I see all these other streams of small investing that actually goes on and it's not missed. I think it's a really strong thing and a habit to get into that's great. Yeah, so that's my idea, is just to do something in your 30s and make sure it's something that you do consistently.
Yeah.
Now, if you do want to invest and you might not want to buy an investment property or a home to live in, there's nothing wrong with setting up an equity investment account in your own name.
Yep.
Because I think it just goes back to the fundamentals. We're living on less than we earn and we're investing the rest.
Yeah.
Now, for a period of time, the living on less than we earn and investing the rest, that quote-unquote investing the rest, that's kind of, well, that money that we have free is going towards our home deposit.
Yeah.
That money that we have free is going towards saving $20,000 because we actually want to start a business, or I want to pay for a uni course or something like that. So as long as that money as long as the 100% of your income isn't being consumed, I think you're taking some type of action, the rest of your 30s into your 40s are going to be really good.
I agree. The danger for someone when they get that increase of income in their late 20s, early 30s, mid-30s is the lifestyle creep that you mentioned. Right? We go and spend it on the bigger toys because we've got the ability to. We can lend more.
Yeah.
Right? We can go and get a brand new car.
I can afford $300 a week now for a car payment, not $90.
Yeah. So the danger is they go that side of the mountain instead of the bright side in terms of setting themselves up for the future.
If I was going to give advice to anybody in their 30s, and if they had $300 a week spare, whether it would be to spend that money on an appreciating asset rather than a depreciating asset. So if there was someone who had $300 for that Prado a week, you've also got $300 a week that you could put into property.
We're picking on the Prado today because I just took John's car for a spin.
It's a good set of wheels though. It generally doesn't depreciate as much as others.
Yeah. And I know I'm pro-property. I'm always going to say an investment property, but whether it be shares or an investment property, they're both going to go up in value. I would just not use that those extra funds that you have to buy something that would go down in value. And those big things, those caravan toys and those big items, if you've got the cash to buy those, that's great. But if you've got that cash, you've also got that cash to invest.
and that is the dance. Like I'm actually preparing at the moment a video and a podcast episode. I'm just going to bring it up now. So this episode that we're talking on now,
I'll be in Barcelona.
Yeah, Rachel will be overseas.
Discretional spending.
Yeah. I'm doing my magic formula for buying cars.
Okay.
And I think in terms of, and this is the dance, right? I'm in the camp, life's too short to just not enjoy it. Our gross income, we're not having more than 50% of the gross household income in things with motors in them, or caravans, toys, boats, motorbikes, all that stuff. So for both of you, do you? I haven't even asked the question, and Rachel's like, "Don't ask me." So do you think your household income, with the cars, any caravans, boats, and all those depreciating assets, are less than 50% of your household income, gross household income?
We have a lot of motorbikes.
Yeah.
But probably yes, less than 50%.
Do you think yours are, John?
Borderline.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I'm just into really good rules of thumb. So that's one of the rules of thumb.
Yeah.
So I did the example that you'll see on the episode. If you earn 150 grand as a household income, we're not having more than 75K in stuff that's going down in value.
Yeah.
So it could be the two cars and the caravan. Could be 25, 35.
Nah, look, actually I'm nowhere near 50 when I think about that.
You just realised how much money he's earned.
No, well, I'm thinking about business vehicles nowhere near it.
Okay.
20%.
Yeah, cool. So, and then
Be close.
Yeah. I'm well under it, because I really try and have that as my thing.
Goal, yeah.
Just as a guardrail to stop me overspending on stuff that's going down in value in proportion. Another kind of rule of thumb when I do this episode was around the caravans, the motorbikes, the toys, the boats. We don't do personal loans for stuff like that.
Yeah, no.
Let's save up, buy cash, get on with it.
Yeah.
Continue investing.
See, my big rule is you never borrow for any of those things.
Yeah, you don't borrow money for toys.
Never toys.
No,
I would say
and I
never
think-
a car.
Yeah, well, that's interesting.
Do you buy your car with cash?
Yeah, everything except for the business vehicle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd be the same. But I think, again, coming back to the 30s, which is the episode we're in, the risk is, for me, it was always get the big assets first, the big rocks, get everything sorted foundationally. Don't go into any of that stuff. And then when you come out the other side and you know, okay, everything's actually going to be okay here, then you can indulge in some of that stuff. But that's not in your 30s, I don't think.
Well, I think I think it's scratching the itch, and this is a good kind of thing to get into. In your 30s, if you are trying to get established and you love fishing and you want to buy a boat, you're not buying an $80,000 boat if you're trying to save for a house deposit. We have to live in reality. But if you've got a $5,000 tinny and that's your little refuge and we just like getting out on the water, awesome.
Go for it. But you're not getting a $30,000 loan for that.
No, it's cash flow.
Yeah.
But that's, welcome to life. We're an adult. There's only so much money. We have to make a judgment call.
Yeah.
We've got $20,000 in savings overall. What are we using it for? We're either investing it or putting it towards something, or saving for something.
Yeah. Well, I see $5,000 in my 30s as $50,000 of borrowing. 10%.
Deposit.
Yeah. So like I've got 5, I can go and get another 45 potentially.
Would you buy, like you've got mountain bikes, would you have bought a $7,000 mountain bike in your 30s?
No, no way. Road bike, no.
Really? Oh, sorry, road bike.
Yeah.
Whatever, mountain bike.
No. I
Road bike.
was the tightest athlete ever known to man in my 20s and 30s. Yeah.
So I don't know, because I just don't, I don't know, maybe I'm just old and in the mood or something, but
Well, you're definitely one of those.
could be both, John. Because I want people to enjoy the fruits of their labour, but let's have some guardrails so we don't overspend.
Yeah,
We
so-
don't get the emotional heebie-jeebies and, you know, buy a brand new boat or motorbike as a toy on finance, because that's going to screw you.
Yeah. But if you know the consequences of that's the issue with a lot of people. Their head is in the sand. I think they go and buy like all these tradies. I'm not picking on the tradies, but P-plates rolling around in new Hiluxes, right? So, okay, do we know the consequences of that? The loan repayments that could be going towards a house deposit or into ETFs or extra super contributions. And if we know that and we're okay with it, go for your life. But if you don't understand that just because you've done what your mate's done, that's the issue, I think.
Yeah. And if you say, yes, Glenn, John and Rach, I've sat here and listened to this podcast and I'm 35 and 100% I understand everything you said, but I'm now going to get a personal loan and buy a boat, a motorbike, insert thing here. Awesome. I've got a nice mattress and pillow. I'm sleeping just as well tonight. But do not dare whinge in 10 years that you've got no money and become a victim.
Yeah.
Because you've knowingly spent money on stuff that's going down in value.
And if you do that in your 30s, there will be a huge difference in your 40s and 50s
Yeah.
of how you live. So those big things and those people that have that extra money and going towards this toy or that toy or finance of things that are going down in value, that's the biggest difference I see. People who invest in their 30s and people who buy toys in their 30s or cars or trying to keep up with the Joneses. There's another one in your 30s.
Yeah.
But those things are the big things that I guess would make a huge difference.
And I want everyone to go out and eat out and all that stuff. You can't go out to grill with 2 people at dinner and get change out of $75. Like, it is expensive to eat out.
Is that where you're taking dates for dinner, grilled?
I think so, yeah. It's good. I like grilled. Oh, but just on that, in terms of implementing rules of thumb into your financial life, I've got a rule of thumb. I don't Uber Eats. I don't use Menu, Flog, anything like that, because it's actually a rip-off. So I got Indian the other night from this place in Newcastle. It wasn't even the best Indian. And I looked on the apps. It was like, you know, full disclosure, token butter chicken, you're welcome. And I literally just called the restaurant and put the phone order in and saved $7
Yeah.
for the meal.
Wow.
Like, it's just outrageous.
And did they deliver it?
No, I walked over and got it.
Oh.
Yeah. But no,
How
but
did it
even
get to your house?
like
Uber Eats.
using apps. So you could use Uber Eats app or what insert app here and click pickup. It's just wild. And,
Yeah.
you know, you go out for, I want everyone to have coffee and brunch out. Yes, I still think you can buy a house and all that and have food at cafes. But the more you sacrifice in life, the more you win in that area. It's like gravity, isn't it? Take
Totally.
your athleticism or whatever. The more you train and sacrifice and not see your family and get them to whinge at you for not being around and being an absent father, you're feeling convicted.
No.
Okay,
I
good.
train from 4 till 6
Yeah.
before they're up.
Yeah.
So I'm
So-
totally at peace with
no,
that.
because that's good. So you have sacrificed. You've gone to bed early. You're getting up at sparrowfart, crack of dawn.
Yes. Dawn's crack.
Yeah. So you are sacrificing that part of your life. Could be lack of sleep.
Yeah,
Well, that's-
grumpiness.
Grumpiness, I mean, probably not healthy. But in order to achieve your goal
Yeah.
and try and keep all the plates spinning.
Yeah, I don't know how we got here, but
Well, we're here, John. Strap in.
Roll.
the benefit to my family is, you're I suppose an example, to
Yeah.
say fit and healthy, and generally got more energy and more attentive generally when you're in that type of environment. Yeah, that's my reasoning anyway.
Yeah, so insert your poison pill here. The more you sacrifice, the more you'll win. Hey, it's Glenn here. Thank you so much for watching today's video. You made it to the end. Can I ask a favor? Can you hit that like button and maybe hit subscribe if you want to get notified when we release further videos just like this one, whether you watch the Money, Money, Money podcast or Retire Right. And remember, if you want to learn more about investing, I've got an investing book, The Quick Start Guide to Investing, and there's a link in the description to get your hands on a copy. Thank you so much. Bye.